It asked me the question why I changed to Islam. This story is on the internet itself. It's 16 pages or something when you print out the whole thing. Obviously you don't want me to use the rest of the night just to talk about that. So I'm going to tell you, go to the Today Islam website and read the story, print it out, and read it for yourself. Bottom line is, I never felt like that I really left Christianity. I felt like I became a better Christian because I learned who Jesus really was and what his message was, and I'm worshiping the God that Jesus worshiped. I'm sorry that's a short answer, but if you'll go read it, it gives the whole story, how I came to Islam, how a Catholic priest came to Islam with us, and my wife and my father, about 1/4, maybe more of my family came to Islam, and the others stayed Christian. Because we come from a family that's been Christian since before there was recorded history in our family. So we built churches in America and in England, so, you know, they're not all ready to just walk away yet, but maybe they will. Okay, let's begin. And I wanted statistical information about Islam. How many Muslims are in the USA? And actually, I had to ask my sheikh, how many was that?
Between 6 and 10 million.
He said between 6 and 10 million. Then they asked how many mosques are in the United States. About 1,200, with more being built every day. I would like to mention this. You didn't ask this question, but my colleague and I can testify to this without any hesitation or reservation to tell you that without doubt, while we had our program tonight, I'm sure a lot more people in America became Muslim. Because even in his one state of South Carolina, there are literally thousands who have come into Islam. And in my state, which is, I live in Northern Virginia, right by Washington, D.C., we also see many hundreds. I've given what we call Syahadat to so many that I lost the count years ago. Many people are entering Islam in America and in other countries. But you might also like to know, who are these people? Many of them are African Americans. But there are other ethnic groups as well. From the white Americans, they don't have a lot of knowledge of it, and it wasn't until September 11th that we started to go on their pilgrimage to Jerusalem. They try, and these are good people. We should give them credit for what they're trying to do. But in Islam, it's very clear that if a person leaves any of the 5 points that I mentioned, they're leaving Islam. So for the benefit of the Muslims who thought they could just say, I love Allah, and Allah loves me, Allah answered them. And this is for the Muslims. I'll tell you what the Quran said. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. Tell them, if they say I love Allah, tell them then follow me, meaning the Prophet. And then and only then Allah will love them and forgive their sins. So this is very important for us to know that Islam requires more than belief. You have to work every day. So that's to give a little overall. Somebody wanted me to do comparative religion. That's as far as I'll go. And what you will bring me is a translation of the Bible in a language. But if I ask you to please, I brought the original Quran. Could you please bring the original Bible? And the answer is you can't. And that's why so many Catholic priests have become Muslim. Because they realize, wait a minute, what am I doing? What am I saying? Because it's the same message. It's not different. But there is a difference in who controls everything. There is no church in Islam that pays money to a bigger church that pays money to a bigger church. There is no such thing in Islam. The money that I told you that the wealthy have to pay has to be given to the poor and the orphans. There's no such thing as a big, huge place collecting up billions and billions of dollars in Islam. Never was, never will be. So wealth is a big, important thing to human beings, but it means nothing to God. He doesn't need your money. So the true religion of God says what? Give your charity to the people that need it. Don't blame Islam for what Muslims do. That answers your question about terrorism, doesn't it? Don't blame a religion for what people do. How many of you heard of Oklahoma City? Anybody ever heard of a place called Oklahoma City? Okay, there was a federal building that blew up there in 1996. Immediately they said Muslims did it, and they were dressed in Arab garb, and they were heading for Mexico. Now that's 1,500 miles away. How'd they know they're going to Mexico? But guess what? It wasn't a Muslim. There was a man by the name of Timothy McVeigh. How many of you know what his religion was? He was Catholic. And nobody made the Pope write an excuse for him either. And I don't blame the Catholic Church for what he did. Do you? He did it on his own, didn't he? Nobody went and looked in the Bible and said, where did he get that from, did they? Duh. Which religion is correct? Jewish, Christian, or Islam? I don't know. I blame myself for this because it means I didn't make a very good presentation for you. I just got through telling you that there's no religion going to be acceptable to God except the one that He sent. That's what Islam means. Jesus submitted to God. He said, I only do what God sent me to do. Isn't that right? Did He? He said, I do the will of the Father. Did He say that? Yes or no? Yes. What does that mean? It means Islam. So He was a what? A what? Go ahead, say it. It's an Arabic word. You can say it. He was a Muslim. So they're all right at the time they came, but people changed them and called them by a place, a thing, or a person. We believe that all religions came from God. We believe that there was only one religion and one message, but people kept changing it so they could control other people. Yeah. They manipulated it so they could take the money, the power, and enslave the people. This is what we believe. One God, one religion. People changed it. Now, if anybody wants to make that testimony of faith, if there's any Muslims here that you never made that testimony of faith in front of people before, or if you feel you need to renew your Shahada, or you know what I mean by that if you're Muslim, and for those who would like to join us in testimony for that, to open this door, then you can just stand up with us. And, hello? Okay. All those who want to. You don't have to. We're not going to give you any prize. But if you want to, you stand up and you say these words and then ask God to open your heart and make it come true. That's all you're doing. You don't have to pay any money. Nobody's going to chase you down the street. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Now we're going to say it as a bearing witness. This means now, I swear that this is true. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. And now I'm going to make a little prayer and I'm going to ask God, Allah, Rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Oh Allah, we ask for you the good of this life and the good of the next life, and we seek refuge in you from the fire of hell. Amen. And we thank all of you for being with us tonight, and I look forward to the next time I have a chance to visit with you beautiful people here in Curacao. Thank you so much for opening your hearts and your minds to this program and inviting us to be here. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.